Hey everyone, JT's Reborn here, and welcome to another special edition of After the Movie. Today, technically like yesterday at the time of recording this, the new adaptation of Death Note premiered on Netflix. And I'm someone who went into this kind of blind. I'd never watched the original anime, so I felt like, you know what, if I'm going to review this, I need an expert on Death Note. So I brought my good friend Spiderjackangel, who's been in several videos in the past and also through Epic Horror Fans. So we're here to talk about the newest film on Netflix from Adam Wingard, the adaptation of Death Note. So, Spiderjackangel, what did you think of Death Note?
Well, I went into this with as much open mind as I could because I felt like there wasn't much to do that hasn't been done before. I mean, we had the animated series that was based on the manga. Then we had the two movies, and I don't have the other two films, which is L Change the World, which takes place in between like at the end of Death Note 2 towards like in the middle of Death Note 2. Kind of like takes
A
place during
midquel?
several different mid things of Death Note. And then there was Death Note Light Up the New World, which was a movie that just recently came out last year, and I think it was supposed to start up a new sort of trilogy of Death Note movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was also the Japanese drama mini drama series, which lasted, I think, like 7 episodes. That's the only one I haven't seen yet because nobody has actually uploaded that online. So I'm unable to see that, but I would like to basically be able to actually watch that for myself because of me being a big fan. But like this series, I felt like it went against what made Death Note so interesting. And what made the show so interesting was the big dynamic between Light and L. They were basically two individuals that both were believing their way of justice was the right way, and there was really like no like middle ground with them. They believed what they believed. Light believed he basically had to take the name of Kira and create a new world by being judge, jury, and executioner to all the criminals. L basically saw Kira as a person who is basically being a monster and needs to be stopped because no person should be judge, jury, and executioner to someone. And even though the crime rate was going down, L still believed that the right thing to do was bring this person to justice. And as he basically said in the anime, that he will basically take him to the gallows. So, like, both individuals in the anime were trying to, basically dish out their own sense of justice. And that's what made it very interesting. And I feel like the American westernized adaptation, or you can say loosely adaptation, kind of loses that by basically changing the characters to try to, you know, do new things with them. And while some change was okay, others I felt like just completely out of character, like for so said character. So it kind of bugged me. But being a fan, I forced myself through the movie, and I will say this: despite my complaints with the film in terms of basically messing up some of the lore with Death Note, I would say the shining point of the movie is the brilliant casting of William Dafoe as Ryuk.
Oh my God, Willem Dafoe. Just so much fun in this movie. I mean, I talked to someone about this, and the joke we had was like, I don't think Willem Dafoe was in makeup. I think they just recorded him on the side because you look at its face, I'm like, God, the thing just looks just like Dafoe. You know what I mean? I mean, even if I've seen images of the original anime, I'm like, my God, that's Dafoe's face. Like Willem Dafoe is perfect, perfect casting. That's him. You just look at that. That looks like Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe was fucking awesome in this movie, and I'm very upset he's not in it enough. Instead, we have to spend the time with this this high school student.
Light Turner.
Light Turner. This
Or she should be called Light Yagami.
Okay, see, I'm someone who hasn't watched it, but like this guy, this main lead, he's not that good. Like when he first sees like Ryuk, I started to laugh because his reaction was pretty funny. Screams like a little bitch, and then
see that like that scene was completely different than what it was in the anime. In the anime, like it was more of a startling reaction. Like Light was startled the first time he saw Ryuk. It was
Mhm.
like he just entered his room and was going to continue charting down people in the Death Note, and then all of a sudden this shadowy figure's like in the corner of his room. He's like, "Oh!"
Yeah,
It wasn't like, "Oh my god!"
although that was pretty funny. But yeah, as someone who's not watched the anime, as far as what I thought of the movie, I kind of thought it was just all right. I mean, there's some cool death scenes. They're just so over the top ridiculous. I'm like, you know what this movie is? This movie is Final Destination if you control death. I'm like, this is the Final Destination mixed with The Happening.
Yeah, see, I admit, like the thing that I was kind of like really interested going into this is the interesting way that Light would kill somebody, because Light has killed a lot of people in the anime in like the most complex ways. And I was just wondering how they were going to go about doing this. And sure enough, some of the stuff that actually happened in the movie were a little bit complex ways. So I think they kind of got that right. But at the same time, some of the overreaching complexity that some of the characters do, like, kind of comes across as a little bit forced in a way. I mean,
Mhm.
especially the kind of like big twist near the end of the film. But I mean, let's not get into that
Mhm.
too much. But yeah, I mean, there are some good moments with this movie. But like, if you're a fan of the anime and the manga and the two movies that basically kind of came before this, you're gonna probably be watching this movie with probably the high expectations as a person going into like a Star Wars movie. You're gonna have that high hope on it basically being just as good as the stuff that came before it, when really it's not. It's
I
just
wouldn't say I
okay.
have high hopes. You got to remember, this is an American adaptation of an anime.
Yeah,
Which
but
one
there's
has been
been
good?
some good ones.
The only
There's been
good one
some
I can
okay
think of.
ones.
Well, I haven't seen Speed Racer, and I really want to. That movie looks
I saw
ridiculous.
that one in theaters. That was actually pretty good.
Dragon Ball Evolution,
Oh
which
god.
is
Oh
a
god.
disaster of a movie on all accounts.
One film I felt like they got a lot of crap, but I actually thought was okay, was actually Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
reviewed that movie. I went into that movie completely blind. I avoided everything. I mean, the thing with that movie was like the lead was really dull. I mean, it's visually stunning, but
hmm
like there's no charismatic enough lead to carry me through this movie. That's kind of how I felt after watching Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Ghost in the Shell that, like, I feel like was a double-edged sword in a way was the fact that a lot of people complained it was whitewashing
Hmm.
to cast Scarlett Johansson, and then when they addressed it with the twist in the movie, like it just made things worse. So it's kind of like, yeah, you kind of probably should not really addressed it as the way that you went about doing it. You should have just basically kind of maybe not addressed it at all. So, but live and learn.
Okay, so Spiderjack. I'm someone who has not seen it, obviously. What was with that sociopathic girlfriend that like Turner had? I mean, by God, like he just like comes up to her and he's just like, let's do this, yeah. Oh, I
Well,
got a death note. And then she's like, oh, cool, we gotta kill these people. We're gonna kill your father now.
see, the thing is with that is that in both the anime and the two movies, like Light was very protective when it came to revealing the Death Note. Like even when Misa Amane who is basically what the girl's Mia's sort of based on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when she like revealed that she had a death note in the anime, she like came off as a little bit of a charmer / obsession over Kira. And even when she revealed it, like, Light still wasn't really sure if he should basically reveal that he's actually Kira or not. You know, it's kind of like, I'm not too sure what to do here. And then he eventually did reveal it, but it was only to benefit his own end.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there's even a part in the anime where he actually uses her own life as a bargain chip for him to basically get out of, like, the situation that he's, you know, in a way. Like, and, like, the big thing with the Shimigamis, which are the death gods, that wasn't really addressed in the movie or anything like that, is that they basically are, you know, not there to, like, help out in any way. Like, they can basically do, like, little stuff here and there, but they cannot basically intervene during, like, somebody that's going to die. Like, you know, that basically will cause so said Shimigami their life. And, you know, Ryuk's character in the anime just basically was there for the fun and the thrill and everything like that, and you know, stuff like that. But, like, Mia's character, you know, like, she's very much, in a way, like a female version of Light that was in the anime. I mean, just a little, you know, stuff, because, like, how, you know, she basically had no kind of boundaries in terms of, like, people that she wouldn't kill. Like, that was basically, you know, kind of like, I saw her as a little bit of how Light was. And Light's character in here is a little bit complete opposite of what he was in the anime and the movies, which kind of got to me a little bit. But I did like, you know, their dynamic with one another. I did think that was okay, you know. So, but overall, like, I do wish they could have done more with her character, and I wish they probably would have not introduced that character until probably, like, the third movie or something like that, or even the second movie, like, much like the second movie did. So,
yeah, this, like I said, I don't really like, I didn't really care for the main dude. I mean, it just baffles me. Like, they're like, oh, he's like a kid. I'm like, a kid? Looks older than me. I mean, I've been out of high school for a few years, but by God, this dude is just like 25, 26. It's not, I mean, what the hell? I mean, the beginning of the movie just is just kind of ridiculous. Like, all of a sudden he's just sitting there, he's, you know, taking homework, and then, you know, doing people's work, and all of a sudden a huge storm comes right out of nowhere. The book just falls randomly out of the sky. Is that how it works in the anime?
yeah, pretty close. I mean, basically, he's sitting down and he's doing homework, and he's kind of bored, like, in class, and then, like, he sees, like, the notebook fall down, and then he eventually kind of picks it up on his way home. But, however, in the movie, and I'm not too sure about this in terms of the anime, it's kind of like, I don't want to say, like, he's just in the anime, but in the movie, he was a law student. So, you know, I think if they would have, like, incorporated that with this movie, because they did kind of bar a little bit from the first movie in terms of, like, how the ending plays out here, you know, here. So if they would have barred the law school student, you know, and I think it probably would have worked a little bit more better, like you said, in terms of, you know, the person Light being a lot more older than what he's actually supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really care for the lead actor in this role. I didn't think he was that good. Maybe a few moments where I laughed unintentionally, but, like, his stupid looking blonde hair, like, his frosted tipped hair just got to me or whatever, and I'm like, ugh, just annoying. And then his girlfriend was just sociopathic. It's like, oh yeah, this
What
Death
do
Note thing turns me on.
what do you think
Ah.
about the fact that every time they basically killed somebody, they showed a scene with them having sex?
I mean, it was kind of funny. I'm like, Jesus, these people are sociopathic. Like they both deserve what's coming to them. And also just like I'm sure it's better done in the anime, but it's just kind of random how this L dude or whatever who keeps his face hidden just somehow knows that it's this kid.
Yeah,
Like
see,
this
see
baffles
that
me. I'm
is
like, out of the world is like 6, 7 billion people in it, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, that's this guy. I'm like, how the fuck did you figure that out?
see that made no sense to me in terms of a viewer from the movie standpoint, because in the anime it made sense. Like,
Hmm.
he did a lot of things in the anime to basically, try to prove that he was Kira. And
Hmm.
even though he had a hunch that he was Kira, he never flat out was like, "Oh yeah, you're Kira, and I'm gonna take you down." Like it
Yeah,
was
because the
more.
explanation is ridiculous. He's just like, I don't know how you're doing it, mind controlling that. Like, you're supposed to say like, oh, was your Death Note? Like, he has no idea what that is. None of them have any idea what the Death Note is
I'm
until they get it.
like, there's a scene in the anime, and I forget which volume it is, but basically, this is how much of extreme that he goes to. He basically is so sure that Light is Kira that he basically has Light's father like take him and Misa out in this isolated location, and tells him that he needs to basically pretend like he's going to kill Light
Hmm.
and Misa and kill himself, because L thinks that will be enough to basically have Light use the Death Note and prove that Light is the one killing these people.
Hmm.
And sure enough, that doesn't happen, and basically L reveals that it was a test. But like, that right there shows you like how much of extreme L is willing to go to prove that he is right. And here in the movie, like, he is really reckless. Like,
He just eats
he
a lot
is.
of candy.
Yeah, well, that is explained in the anime,
That's what I
and
mean though. Like, it's like I understand this is an adaptation, but because this is not. I mean, it's based on material, but you're adapting it for film. You have to make it as if nobody's ever seen it before.
yeah. Well, see,
Of course, you can have
for
little Easter eggs and that and there, but when it's just like, oh, that's explained in something else, I'm like, this is a completely thing. It's its own thing. You know what I mean? Because this is a reimagining. You should
yeah,
go into detail to
yeah,
explain things for people who haven't seen
I
it.
totally agree with that.
I
But
mean, at least
I
like in
was,
the case of like something like Batman or whatever, which everybody kind of already knows.
yeah,
Like that's already we've had several movies. Like even if they're in different series, we've kind of already like get the idea. It's so
hmm
ingrained into culture. But Death Note, like I said, it's more for like anime fans, obviously, and then like people who have watched the original thing in Japan. But you kind of have to like, you know, spread out the
yeah.
details and stuff.
As I was going to explain to you, the reason why L eats a lot of candy and sweets is because the fact that he uses a lot of brain power, and like the sweets basically keep him energized.
Hmm.
And even though sugar isn't really good for you, like, he is able to basically kind of balance everything off with everything that he does. So that's
Okay, yeah. So like I would have no idea. I'd just be like, why does this guy fucking eat sweets? So I'm glad you're on this thing because we get 2 points of view from someone who's like knows like pretty much everything there is to know about Death Note, and then someone who has no idea about Death Note. So
mm,
so we're looking basically. I think we've just both agreed the movie's just kind of all right.
yeah. I mean,
Outside of Willem Dafoe, who is incredible.
like, and like, even with like, I feel like the casting for Light's father wasn't really that good, because like Light's father, I kind of wanted somebody like roughly the equivalent of like Gary Oldman to play,
Hmm.
because like Light's father is probably like in the anime. I probably take a guess. I could be completely wrong here, but I would probably guess he's probably at least in his 50s,
Hmm.
maybe late 50s. But like, I felt like his character in the movie was okay. I mean, I wish it would have been better,
Yeah, he was just
but
kind of there, just like, oh, I'm a cop or an FBI, whatever he was. Like I said, I was kind of lost.
yeah. And here's the other thing that bugged me about the movie. Okay,
Hmm.
like one of the things Elle does in the anime and in the movie, the Japanese movies, is like when all the agents come in and reveal who they are, he goes like bang, 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 and he says, if I was Kira, you would all be dead. And
Hmm.
he basically gives them fake identities, for the police badge, so that Light or whoever's Kira could not figure out, the real name,
Hmm.
and so that they wouldn't die. Here, that doesn't happen, and all those fucking agents go out the freaking window, metaphorically. Really, they just basically all climb up the building and they all commit suicide.
Now, here's the thing. What if you legally changed your name? Would the Death
That
Note
would
affect you differently, or has that not been
Well, yeah,
done?
you need the real name of
Not
so
what
if the
you're born
person
with.
changed their name, that would not work.
Okay, so it has to be the name you were born with.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Because what if like age, what so like if I change my name at age 1 or something, and I've been going by like, say my original name is like John Cena, and then I changed my name to Roman Reigns.
I see what you did there.
Yes, both terrible names, but you get the idea. Like I
Yeah, it
changed
has
my
to.
name, like, and somebody writes my second name into the Death Note, it wouldn't affect me at all.
Yeah, it has to be the real name of the individual. And one of the things that was in the movie, but like was kind of like an added thing for this movie to make it a little bit different, is that in the anime, once a person is added to the Death Note, there is no loophole to get them out of the Death Note. They're in there. They will die that specific way on that specific day.
Okay, no burning
So,
the page to get you out.
nope, nope, nothing.
Hmm, cool, 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 cool. Yeah. So what else can I say about this movie? The ending was like, I guess it was kind of cool, like how it's like all
Yeah,
put together, how it
it
was
was
like planned
intriguing.
out.
I mean, I do admit, despite my complaints with Al, I did like that one struggle with him where he finds the one page and he's so tempted to actually do what Light has been doing, but he couldn't bring himself to do it because the fact that you know he wants to remain on the right side of the law,
Hmm.
and I
So
like
is
the
L like
fact.
the hero of the anime, or is he just? Is it kind of
Well,
like it's a middle ground?
here's the thing. Elle's character, spoiler here, big
Hmm.
spoiler. Depending on how they do it, Elle's character in the anime does not make it to the end.
Okay. Now the anime, is it just like the 37 or so episodes on, or is it just like there's a sequel series in that?
No, it's just the so many episodes, and like the two people that take over once Elle passes on are these two individuals, Near and Mello, who basically are raised at the same orphanage that Elle basically grew up in.
Okay.
But I'm not quite sure if the movie will even go that far, because when we got to see Watari go to the orphanage and get Elle's file, like that place looked really abandoned. So I'm not even quite sure if they're going to go that far in
Yeah,
terms of
I mean, this
story.
movie get views on Netflix. I don't understand how Netflix is making money off these movies. They spend all this money on. Like, it's not like people are going to pay the theaters to see it, and people are already on Netflix. They're not just like, oh, Death Note, the movie's on there. I'm gonna buy a subscription just for
Y-
that.
You know what? I'm surprised Netflix hasn't done this yet, and I wouldn't put it past them. But I'm a little bit shocked that Netflix has not removed the anime of Death Note yet. Because I for sure thought what they were going to do is to force people to watch their Death Note,
Hmm.
is to remove the anime and then just basically have Netflix Death Note be the only thing on there.
I think, well, what it's gonna do for sure is like after people watch this movie, they're gonna watch the anime and be like, wow, this is so much better. I mean, I haven't even seen
Yeah.
the anime, but I'm like probably assuming it's a lot better.
Oh yeah. The only thing I didn't like about the anime was the ending in a way. I felt like the ending kind of was a little bit reaching,
Hmm.
but overall, it was at least what you want to say a decent end. But if I was going to go in terms of which ending I like better, because the two Death Note movies have completely different endings, I like the movies ending better because I felt like it was more in the realms of possibilities.
Now, what about this movie's ending? Did you like it? Because like that's what I thought at the end of the movie that L or whatever wrote his name in the Death Note. That's why like Willem Dafoe comes up and he starts cackling like Oscorp.
No, no, L did not write his name in the Death Note at the end. But like, I believe Ryuk was laughing because of all the, stuff Light has actually done, and the fact that his father now is a accomplice and most likely gonna, do whatever he can to protect his son.
Hmm.
So yeah, I feel like the ending of the movie could have been better though. I mean,
It just ends
honestly,
abruptly.
yeah, it does. And like, I'm just like, okay,
Yeah, like me too. I'm just like, that's it. Well, see you later.
yeah.
It's
So,
just it's one of those things. Okay, so we're gonna get into final thoughts now. So, Spiderjackangel, would you recommend people see Death Note maybe once and just like kind of forget about it, or is it something you're like, yeah, go see Death Note, the live action American westernized version because it's so great.
God, it's really hard for me to actually say, but I will just kind of say this: if you're a fan of the anime and what came after the anime in terms of the movies and the manga before the anime and the mini Japanese series, I would probably say skip it.
Ooh, skip it, skip it, skip it, just like the toy.
But if you have no knowledge of the anime and just gonna watch this as your average moviegoer, I'd say give it a watch. It's not horrible by any means. It's just more disappointing
Hmm.
than anything. I mean, if I was going to give it a score, being a fan of Death Note, I would probably give it a solid 5.
Five, so
Uh,
it's just average, mediocre, just alright.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm kind of middle ground on this movie too. It kind of sucks too because this director's about to make the biggest movie of all time for me, and I really want him to do a good job. Because those last two movies I've not been a fan of. Because Blair Witch is the only movie, the third Blair Witch movie he made, like, is the only movie that ever made me like physically ill leaving a theater because of like the motion sickness got to me really bad. But his other, the one movie I saw of his that he did in the theater, Your Next, I think is fucking awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that is fucking awesome.
Your Next came out like 3 or 4 years ago, I think, today,
Yeah,
or like this week or something like that. I love Your Next. I
I
haven't
did
seen his
too.
other, I haven't seen his other movie. Was it The Guest? It's because it's Adam
No,
Wingard,
no, I didn't see The Guest
but I heard good things
either.
about it. AG Punk 15 told me it was pretty good.
I think it's available on Netflix.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a watch, but Please, buddy. I don't care if you fuck up. I'm sorry, no offense, but I'm like, I don't care if you mess up Death Note, but you have to make Godzilla versus Kong good. It has to be good. It can't fail for me. Please make it like your next good. No, it has to be better. I'm nervous now because I'm like, oh shit. I know he's a fan, so at least that's good because I've seen him. Like
Hmm.
he definitely knows his stuff when it comes to that. And like when it came to Death Note, it was kind of like just doing a reimagining. And he said like the creators liked it, so I guess that's good.
The thing that really gets me about Death Note is the fact that the actor that plays Al, like during an interview, he tried to basically sit exactly how L sits.
Hmm.
I mean, he did okay, but then he basically was like, "Yeah, I watched the anime, I read the manga, and so on." And I'm just like, if you watched the anime and read the manga, then couldn't you basically said like, listen, this is our characteristic with this character that I'm playing. I mean, I don't mean to say that he was lying because I don't know the person physically or anything like that, or
Hmm.
like, but it just kind of like the whole characters in Death Note, the movie, just were opposite of what they were in terms of the anime and
Except
the
Willem
manga.
Dafoe. Or
Yeah, I like the thing that the anime did, the movies did, and this movie did really well is show Ryuk's addiction with apples
hmm Yeah, because I'm like,
because
he's hungry.
see, the thing is, in the Shinigami realm, everything is rotten, so even the apples are pretty much rotten,
Hmm.
and apples to him is pretty much drugs.
Hmm.
So like when he doesn't have an apple or anything like that, he goes through withdrawal syndromes, which I was really hoping this movie would do
He's
because
not
the
in the movie
fact
enough.
what
Defoe's not in the movie enough. Not nearly
yeah
enough for me.
yeah, but Ryuk, like when he goes through these withdrawal syndromes, he does handstands, he does freakouts, everything like that, and I was like, oh my god, William Dafoe needs to do the withdrawal syndromes because that would be so fucking awesome. But no.
We don't get it.
Yeah.
So I think the things we can take away from this movie is Defoe is amazing. Everything else is okay. Death scenes are
Yeah.
decent. Um, needs more Defoe. Needs more Defoe. Needs more Defoe.
Needs a little bit more of a better, complex, smart plot too, because that's the other thing that it was lacking as well. Because Death Note is all about the complexity.
Hmm. Yep. I'm still waiting for that great anime adaptation. Unless you count Scott Pilgrim, but I don't think that was made like as well. It's a tribute to anime. The only
It was Scott Pilgrim was actually, I believe,
an
a
American.
manga and a comic or a manga. So yeah,
I think it was a comic from America. I'll have to
yeah.
look.
So but still, that's
That's
at least
that's the only one I just think is amazing. Like that's like why is it that it's so difficult to make like anime adaptations? Yeah, because it was a graphic novel like series. That's right.
yeah.
It's from a guy who lived in Toronto. So like it wasn't legit like something from Japan. So I'm still waiting. And it's just like it just
Dude,
pisses me off that like none of these are like great. There's so much
one
great material. Like Ghost in the Shell is probably the best one I've seen, and that movie's just fine. It's not amazing. I mean, I liked it, but like it could have been so much better if you had a
yeah.
charismatic lead. And I was like, God, we're close. We're so close. And like this movie, Willem Dafoe is great, but like everything else around it's not. There's too many fucking Dutch angles, tilted camera angles, reminding me of Battlefield Earth.
That's
And
exactly what I was thinking too. The part in the I think it's in the school, or it was during one
the
scene where
boys,
the camera's just tilted this way, and you're like, what the hell?
yeah, I'm just like, oh man, there's so
But
much potential, but it just
uh,
squanders it.
I'm not quite sure if you know this, but originally, like back when Dragon Ball came out,
Hmm.
they were in talks to making a Cowboy Bebop movie and casting Keanu Reeves as the title character.
You know what? Keanu Reeves, whether he's good or bad in a movie, at least is somewhat entertaining. Because like we can get awesome Keanu Reeves like in John Wick where he's really good, or we can get hilarious Keanu Reeves in like Bram Stoker's Dracula. But I mean, I usually enjoy Keanu Reeves or Bill and Ted, excellent. Or you get Speed Keanu Reeves, which is a cool action hero. Or
Yeah,
whoa, I know Kung Fu Keanu Reeves.
but I do agree. Most of this movie is just okay, with the exception of William Dafoe shining as Ryuk.
Yep. So that's that.
What are you gonna give it out of 10?
I think it's all right, like a 5, just like you. It could have been so much better. It could have been worse. It's not like the worst thing I've seen all year.
Oh no,
The worst movie in the theaters for me, is just when I had to sit through Resident Evil, the final chapter, and the nauseating camera work that just made me want to throw
I would
up.
say Resident Evil: The Final Chapter is better than this movie.
I would wholeheartedly disagree with all my heart, because at least this movie had some enjoyment with Willem Dafoe. That movie gave me nothing good.
Well, coming from two different, perspectives here, I know you don't like the movie that much. I do, but I do have a lot of complaints with it as well.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's gonna wrap up this review. Spiderjackangel, thank you so much for joining me in this discussion of Death Note.
You're welcome.
And youtube.com/SpiderjackAngel, who has to upload some videos sometime soon. It's been too long. But it's good that you're on here so we can talk Death Note.
It was a pleasure you having me on here because I am always very, very excited when talking about anime adaptations.
Yep. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for watching.
See y'all later.